All right, ladies and gents, welcome. We've got another best of 5 in round 3 of Titans League, and this series, it was apparently insane. So buckle up and prepare yourselves for a fun one. A little bit of background around the situation, and then also our players. This is the third of 4 rounds in the silver qualifier. It is a single knockout bracket. You have to win best of 3, which these guys have, and then best of 5, and then best of 5 to be then in gold come January. Uzzi is a player who was inactive for a period of like 6 months, came back, has been playing very well. He won in a very close series against Kamigawa in round 2, which I did cover. Highly suggest watching some of those games, and some of those games will still hit YouTube soon. He comes in here as my favorite. His elo alone should tell you the level that he's been able to reach on ladder. Like 2350, 2400 at times for Uzzi, and not many players can say that. And I Buy Power is what this guy's name is, and it was just, people just reminded me that it's actually like a PC website. This video is not sponsored by I Buy Power, but apparently this guy is, and that's all I've ever known him as for like 2 or 3 years, so there you go. I Buy Power is a Chinese player who I can't tell you a lot about from tournament results, but I can just tell you that I played him a lot in ranked, and he's pretty good. I think Uzzi's better. I've lost Uzzi a whole lot more than I've lost I Buy Power, but I don't know what this guy's going to do beyond like Arabia 1v1s. So we've got polls for him, and then we've got Saracens for Uzzi. And Uzzi really seems to like Saracens. I remember he chose Saracens on, I think it was Saracen. Oh, Golden Swamp in the previous round, which he ended up losing that game. But obviously, this doesn't have any water, so it's a little different. And, Saracens, I think, seem to be a little bit more all-in these days. Players like to wall up with them, use the market, and go for a lot of archers. And while all that's the case, I actually think Saracens are an underrated civ at playing somewhat standard. It's just that civilizations tend to be played out towards their power spikes more and more. And so your best power spike is probably the early Castle Age window. This map is oftentimes a fast castle map behind some walls, and you can see I Buy Power is looking to do that now. And in my opinion, he has a more standard pick for these settings. Remember, for the silver bracket, we're using the same exact settings as we saw in gold and platinum from season 1. So it's the same. This is a season 1 map pool, as they are in hopes to qualify for season 2, which will have a different map pool. But what that tells me, and what that allows us to, but what that allows us to speculate on and base our thoughts on is how did players play this map, and what civs were they picking in the first season. And polls was picked a lot. I remember a game where like Jordan played polls and Yo played polls, and there were tons of polls. And so it's a good approach here from him. He's going to wall up. Actually, not a really good map for the gold, unless he were to wall back here, I guess. But that could be a lot of walling. And on the other side, Uzzi still just pushing in all of his zebras and ostrich, which could mean fast castle, but more than likely means fast feudal, as you see Loon queued up behind the vills. Our base says, have you decided on map replacements already? We have. Nothing's confirmed yet. Nothing's public, but I've got a pretty good list of what I'd like to do. We're also going to be bringing back Arabia, but like making tweaks to it. So Arabia's just like a standard Age of Empires 2 map. That's one of the staples. It should be in like every map pool that's varied anyways. But we are changing the Arabia from how the first season was to be a little bit different. So, but yeah, I'm probably like, this is normally how my life works. I go home with family to relax with family and not think about Age of Empires. But then in like every free moment I get where there's downtime, I normally pull up my laptop and I'm like thinking about future content, and I'm just thinking about maps for events. So more than likely, a lot of progress is going to be made on that once I'm home with family. Okay, so Red just wants to play safe, just wants to play standard, and that is the pole way. Hasn't added a barracks yet, which indicates to me that he probably just wants to farm. There's the second lumber camp for him. As for Uzzi, Uzzi still hasn't left his freaking base. And Uzzi is on gold, but Uzzi doesn't have a barracks yet. So if he was going to go archers, this is going to be very delayed. This very well might not be any archers from him. And we do actually have a barracks for my by power. But yeah, you know, Titans League is meant to give people opportunities. And I think, like, Uzzi's a guy who is talented enough and has reputation that's high enough, I think, where, you know, he would be a challenger in maybe some other events. Maybe not top 16, certainly not, maybe not even top 30, but he's just more well-known. Excited to see a 2K1, 2K2 player make it here against this guy. Can someone remind me? Actually, no, you know what? Don't do it. I was going to say look at the bracket, but if you look at the bracket, it's going to spoil the results of the series most likely because this is recorded games. So I'll just say I don't remember who iBuyPower played. And obviously, please no spoilers. I'm casting the Rex, but I don't know who's going to win these sets. So, okay, the range is a little delayed. And I remember Uzzi played so clean on Gold Rush. I think he was, what civ was he? He was Hindustani's. Yeah, he played really good. And look at this. We've got a range. We've got a blacksmith here for red. But he does have the farm upgrade. And he does have the wood upgrade. And Poles get 10% of their farm's food instantly when they place a farm around a full work. So he's got his full work secured, which is a big deal. We got double range for Uzzi. Really? iBuyPower played Shulk in his previous set. Okay. I mean, Shulk is another one of those. You know, Shulk is a French player who has always had potential, but another 2K1 player. But obviously was best of threes too, really aggressive. Okay, scouts are going to engage here, and pretty calm, relaxed game so far. Uzzi having the better of the scout engagement here. And Uzzi realizing that red has the hill and red's going to back away. And red's actually just making skirms right now. Does Uzzi know about that? Uzzi saw the range. So if I'm Uzzi, I don't move out. I keep those archers in there. I know that I want to kill fast because I'm Saracen, so I'd probably be a little conflicted. But I don't think I'd move out at all. I think I would just wait till Castle Age. Seems kind of silly in some ways, but it'd be even sillier to move out. Like, in red's position, he's like, oh my god, he's double range. I have to make skirms. I have to respect it, make army, get upgrades. If you just don't get upgrades and you just sit at home, it could be awesome. And look at Uzzi. Uzzi selling his stones, even selling some wood and buying food. And this is the way of the Saracens. I also love how red's keeping an eye on the range. And the longer that Uzzi sits there, it's possible that red might think, okay, maybe he's not actually making a lot of archers. So it's kind of, there's no way to know whether there's one archer in there or 10. So that's why consistently scouting it's important. I wonder if it's worth it to stonewall here. If he had stone in his base, it would definitely be worth it. But your eco's going to catch up if you're Poles because of the farming around the mills. But it's just not going to be able to compete with the uptime that Saracens can offer here with their market play. Like, look at the resources are already there for Castle Age. And the guy's got 10 archers. Probably will be about 16 or 18. And that's just going to destroy you. Like, this is... Uzzi's played this really clean. And he'll never be able to be damaged here, too, because of the house walls. And, like, I honestly think my gut here is telling me, granted, I can see everything, that it would be worth it for you to fully stonewall your base right now if you're red. Or fully house wall everything. One or the other. He's adding houses on the left and the front. Oh, man. Remember, he's got no additional gold available if he loses access to this one. And Saracens also do a lot of damage versus buildings. So here comes red, looking around, looking for those archers. He's going to find one. Might actually get a kill there, but it's unlikely. Uzzi shouldn't allow that to happen. Uzzi will allow that to happen. Okay. Could lose another one. Don't like this. Okay, he's not going to lose another one. Killing the lions, taking on his frustration on the poor lions. And you'll notice red had to cut skirmisher production to get up. Red now knows the archers could be on the way. Uzzi's ready to dominate here, man. So just all in play with crossbowmen. This is going to be a 1730 castle time with army production. Oh my goodness. And Saracens melt your walls. Okay, market just to buy some time. I like it. How much wood are you going to get here, though? Okay, another market. Oh, God, this is such a dangerous game. Okay, so he's buying time. That's a 400 wood investment just to buy time. You might need to delete this market. Okay, dodging to the side. Hasn't lost a villager yet. Skirms are here. I don't know if that's enough skirms, but he's buying time so we can get the walls down. And you could tell Uzzi doesn't like this. Good patience from Uzzi, though. I really like how he's played this. He's gone for the vills when needed. He's forced so many different buildings, and now he's going to take engagements against the skirms. And this timing is just insane. Like, you still need elite skirm right now if you're red. And how are you going to get that? And now the crossbows just break right through. So I buy power, needs to buy some time, as I will steal the joke from my chat. And the market, he needs wood, so he has to delete the markets. But, pain. Uzzi's dominating him, man. This is a really sick build order from Uzzi. Because the other thing, too, is he kind of adapted with it. If his opponent went into scouts, he could have actually fought. But the fact that you can go open with Feudal Age as he snipes another Vill. You can open with Feudal Age in a Feudal Age contest game and be fine. Or you can just turn that into a 1730 Castle Age with crossbow pressure and be fine. There's really doing no wrong, it feels like, with this strategy. Okay, keep in mind the economy's not so good behind this for Uzzi. And big attack round there from Red. And Red might actually be able to stabilize a little bit here. Obviously has no control of the middle. Uzzi's really going to have to nerd out to be able to get away with this. And all these villagers are going to be able to go back to the farms. It's 2 town centers for Red. Red actually has the same amount of vills. Only 25 seconds of TC idle time. Are you kidding me? What? That's pretty sick. Dang. How did he get the food for that? Has he been buying it? He hasn't been buying it at all. He doesn't even have a market. So I guess that's just food that he banked up from before. And now he should definitely just get back to his farms. He'll pull away from his gold here. And yeah, Red's alive in this game. Like, that was that time window that Saracens really wanted to do damage. And now you've got to try and stabilize your economy. A nice attack rounds here from Red. Nice micro from Uzzi. Bonk. They dead. Nice micro. Bonk. They dead. Whoops. Sorry, guys. My bad. All right. Well, no access to gold at the moment for Red, but he can get back to it at any time. Usually... So here's where it gets tricky, right? So I think in Uzzi's mind, he felt like he had done enough damage. He didn't need the siege follow-up right away. Okay? But usually you have the crossbows and the siege, or you have the crossbows and ballistics. But what he opted to do, which I don't hate, is drop the town center. Now, I'm not sure about TC number 3 if you don't have siege support. He is, however, going to add a stable to just get a knight or 2 out. And you can see how much value even the scout's going to bring here. As Uzzi dances, and Uzzi gets smacked in the face yet again. And will he get the mangonel? Oh, he needs this so desperately. Huh! Huh! He got it! Oh, man. Well, that's nice. You still aren't playing into heavy crossbow numbers, which is a little questionable. Good players in Red's position are going to say, what am I vulnerable against? I'm vulnerable against a knight. Let's add a monastery. Let's make some monks. Not doing that right now, but we might see it. And TC goes up on the hill. So Uzzi's got 3 town centers, 51 villagers versus 47, though. Important thing to note is that we have both players on stone, but one of the players is selling their stone. There's the monastery. And the other person is actually, like, saving the stone for a castle. And then, of course, being Poles, you also receive gold income from this. So Red was in the right ballpark, going for the monks. Fortunately for him, he might actually kill this knight. Oh, get it. Get it. Oh, he dodged. Value, baby. That was so good. Get it. No, don't come back in, you idiot. I was calling the knight an idiot, not Uzzi, of course. Oh, God. Now we've got a lion. Man, there's been a lot of 1 HP units. Like, a lot of little tiny micro movements like this game. Is that crossbow now kills a lion and runs away. And now there's a new knight. And the monk is on the way here for red, but he had just overextended with his scorpions, which is kind of a mistake that he'll know better than to make again. So he's been warned a few times by this, and still he's lost a lot of siege to the knights. Now we're going to see some siege here from Uzzi. And keep in mind, Uzzi has no horse color in his farms. He doesn't have the Polish bonuses for the farms, so Polish food eco should be stronger. But red doesn't have a lot of army. It's all eco. He's got monk, scorpion, skirm, but he wants to build up towards knights ultimately. Uzzi will continue to use that market. Gonna get horse color now, like he heard me. And I like the timing on the siege workshop. Because now, I would like to see some monks from him as well, if possible, but we can't do everything, of course. But now, scorpion defense, even sitting underneath the TCs, isn't going to be that valuable. And I like siege pressure in this position, even if it doesn't accomplish a whole lot, because it's an area that red has to respect and address. Red might think, I need to make more army to deal with this, and then ultimately make my castle here, because this is an area I need now. Instead of, if there's no siege workshop, taking a fight and walking to the middle. Like, you always have to respect that siege workshop now if you're red. As we have +2 armor on the way for red. And the theme for me, comparing the two players, has been red is really relaxed about tech switches. And Uzzi's like, I need to do damage right now. I'm going to switch into this right now. Ostrich goes down. But I don't know, like, red kind of reminds me of Yo, if you guys know Yo. Like, gets a lot of value from low numbers and always builds up towards eco. Now, I might be just making that comparison of Mr. Yo because it's a Chinese player. Like, I'll admit that's probably part of it. But, like, Uzzi is just, like, the pressure and the speed, it feels like, is twice as fast. But I like red's approach. The economy always seems to be sound. Now, what's tricky is you want a castle, but you want that castle to be up after you win a fight. You don't want to drop a castle to defend yourself, which again makes this position so strong for Uzzi. Also, I love the camel edition. I think that's important. It's worth noting that you do get 10 extra HP with camels as the Saracens, but he doesn't have any upgrades right now, and he doesn't have that many crossbows either. And there's also no monks here either. And, oh man, as one monk goes down, I mean, the mangonel here will go down. And there should be a conversion, and there is a conversion. And suddenly I Buy Power has to try and save his mangonel. The knights are going to loop in, but do the knights want to separate themselves from the rest? How's this going to go? I think red's going to try and take the fight. No, he's not. Knights are in now. Uzzi's in a good spot. Uzzi's just split red up. Look at red's reaction now. And I'm excited because there's a castle in the middle right now from Uzzi. I love the fact he's making Mamelukes. Red might have the villager lead, but he still can't take the middle. But that might change here in a second, guys. This is going to be a really good game. Great micro from Uzzi yet again. His crossbow micro is so good. And the knights ultimately will go down, but it led to a lot of idle time. This gives him time to mass some Mamelukes. Not making many. 10 crossbows, 1 Mameluke, though. Red can run to the middle now. So, I'm biased because Gold Rush is one of my favorite maps. I'm also biased because this is my vision. Like, the way this Gold Rush is made is something that I had conversations with my map team for various events, so we've worked on it and honed it down. I love it, okay? So there's a huge bias there. But I think this version of Gold Rush is the best version of Gold Rush ever because you can actually have people on all the golds. The latter version of Gold Rush, you can't TC this stuff, right? So yeah, blue's got the middle, but it's not over because red can come to the middle as well. Now, I would take this gold. This is... no, red. Red, take this gold. Yeah, there you go. Because now you can take that. Again, the main thing for Uzzi is he's killed 11 villagers. However, his eco has not looked quite as pretty behind this. I don't know what his long-term army comp is, but red doesn't see this. Red, where you going, bro? Oh no, he's gonna need to buy villagers next. Oh, disaster. He could have cleared this, guys. It's gonna be a doubt castle and a gift for Uzzi. It's not Christmas yet, but he asked for that one. Oh my god. Oh man, trading one villager kill for like 12, and now Uzzi has a big eco lead. And actually, I think you have to delete the siege workshop at 99%, because that gives blue a better position to be able to engage with his crossbows, because your knights can't fully surround. Yeah, he now has to delete 99% siege workshop, and he's moving out to finish his castle. I'm not sure about Uzzi's castle, though. This is crazy. I mean, he's not going to get it denied. But I guess what it does do is it makes it more awkward for red to be able to take this gold. But now it's also kind of a target. Like, you can make petards here if you're red. You do. Red's going to make siege. Red is going to make petards to try and take that one down. And Uzzi is still able to take the center gold. Could always take this gold too back at home. He doesn't actually have a ton of army to defend from these knights. I don't know. Like, I like Mamelukes, but I'm not sure I love the idea of Mamelukes on a map where your castles typically are out there to make trebs. Red's going to take out this castle. He's slowly adding petards. Let's see how these Mamelukes perform. And the beauty for red is he can just produce out of his stables. And he is going to be able to take that gold in the middle soon. This is a great game. He also has enough for another castle soon. As we see Uzzi catching up on upgrades now. So we'll have bloodlines soon. Attack and also armor. And no overchops yet. Actually, I think there is an overchop back here. That could be annoying for Uzzi, but Uzzi's clearing this. Mamelukes are great against knights. Let's go! Not so great when you only have one castle, though. And Uzzi with the quick wall. Well played. I think he lost the Vil. The Vil went to the outside, and now he's fine. All right. Red's still making more knights. Uzzi still making more Mamelukes, even adding regular camels. That's not an easy thing to deal with here. It takes 8 petards to take out a full HP castle. But you have, it's not full HP because of it being shot by the castle, and it's also downhill, which means it would take fewer hits. So I'd say about 6 should be fine for red. And red's imping! He's imping right now. Whoa. Also catching up on a few eco upgrades at the moment. He just doesn't have a big army, though, right? Like, it's just, like, I guess, a little awkward for Uzzi to go imp when he spent so much food on the Mamelukes and camels. But I think you could say it's worth it because you've kept red off the gold for a while. Petro, I've never known iBuy Power as anything else. He was iBuy Power before DE as well. So I've known him as iBuy Power for like 3 or 4 years. I don't know if he goes that far back. Another castle for red. He can make trebs, guys. And Uzzi kind of realizing the situation, I guess, is also going to go up to imp. Interesting. Man, I would love to see the I'd love to see the unique tech here for red. That means his knights cost less gold. It feels like the perfect play. Going archers isn't bad either against Mamelukes. Like, Arbalest is probably your best option because skirms don't do bonus damage against them anymore. But I just think it'd be so valuable to be able to make more knights. But then again, it might look really bad to make more knights. Maybe you just go for the light cap approach. Here comes Uzzi, and Uzzi's like, there's a lot of waiting going around here, or happening here, and I don't like that. There is still a gap here. I mean, the Mamelukes have a little bit of range too, so it shouldn't take too long for them to break down this house. As we just see a panic TC for red, just to keep villagers safe back here. Red is on this gold, though, as Uzzi drops another castle on the hill, but he's 2 minutes from imp. And the panic TC might not end up going up. Uzzi has a healthy villager lead. He's had more gold control in this game. And he's killed far too many villagers. At least from Red's perspective. 36 villagers killed, and that's not the end of it. Mamelukes have been insane. Hey, Trebs are on the way from Red. This is going to get fun, guys. This is going to get really fun. Mamelukes have busted through another little makeshift wall. There's Red sending all these vills to the middle. You could tell it's reached that point of sloppiness in this game where Red just can't focus on things. Idles, idles, idles. Normally you want them back to work, but can they go back to work? You have to re-wall it first. Just, frustrating experience right now. For Uzzi, I think he's done the right thing here. He could actually just hold onto his castles with repairs and go into full production of Hussar. And I actually think that would be perfect because you just need to snipe the first couple waves of Trebs and then you should be okay. Easier said than done, obviously, as he gets the final cav armor, which applies to his Mamelukes, his camels, the light cav he's making. And you could tell Red doesn't have much protection for these Trebs, guys. Red's falling apart. What a great game from Uzzi. Who's got stone income, who's got gold income. And he's ready, and that's going to be the beginning of the end here for Red if he loses the trebuchets. But at the same time, he has to push, right? Because that's the only thing he has going for him is the Treb advantage. Actually, what? Okay, he loses 2. Almost looked like he wasn't going to lose any there. Oh, man, but we'll have Trebs as well from Uzzi. So now Uzzi's going to be trebbing back, and the Mamelukes are shredding these knights. And there's just crossbows for Red. He can't afford to get much more. A Hussar upgrade too. Man, what a crazy switch. It's very rare to see Saracens make Mamelukes, but it's very rare to see Saracens make as much as we've seen in this game. We saw archers, we saw camels, we saw Mamelukes, we're seeing Hussar now. We also could see bombard cannons. Like, there's so many things Saracens can do that you just don't normally see. Man, oh man, did it make sense here. Also, credit to him for his eco, right? Like, he hasn't been full stone and gold and market. His opponent's actually desperate in using the market right now. But he has the better standard economy. I think what a lot of players do in Blue's position is they just send the Hussars directly to Red's main eco. Just go to his main eco, kill another 30 vills, and then the rest of your army just gets massed here and waits for the final blow. He'll have chemistry in 20 seconds, so he can just make bombard cannons then, something Red's also trying to do. And he does have the economy to also just mass it all right here and dive for this. But even just like 5 Hussars here, and suddenly Red has big problems, right? Red can't block off. He can't block it off. I can barely see it, but it looks like 2 Trebs will go down? Or is it 1? 2 Trebs were in there. It was very hard to see the second one. And now there's bombard cannons and Trebs back here as well. It doesn't look like Uzzi's going to dive on that yet. He does have lots of food, so he's just forgotten to queue some Hussars for the time being. Needs to get back to doing that. And this is what I mean, right? Like, Red has to stay here. It's so annoying when you're in Red's position. Because any army you send to deal with this is army you don't have to deal with this. And you have to go mid. But it's just Uzzi playing it perfectly. Uzzi has 4 Trebs going after the castles now. The bombard cannons are going to be there for the enemy Trebs. The Hussar raids are catching up with Red. Even though he's defending nicely, it's still hurting him. And it's patient from Uzzi. And down will go a castle for Red. Down could go some Arbalest and some Trebs for Red. And I think we're going to see the final fight here in a moment. The Hussar's still getting some damage in. Still distracting iBuyPower. There's a lot of siege for both players. He's got 20 more Hussars in queue. Bombard cannon micro obviously matters here. I think, like, if Red can just get better bombard cannon trades, maybe it's okay. Is he... Wait a second. Is he doing this? He has tons of arbs. He's sniping the siege from Uzzi. Where's Uzzi's Hussar production? It's happening now. Maybe he needs more stables. What is happening? Is Red gonna do this? They're both losing so much siege at the moment. Red still also has access to gold right now. What in the world? Red has 41 arbs. Uzzi's got 21 Hussars in queue, but he's got 5 queued up in each stable. He needs more stables, which he tried to do here, and the Lion said, woo, woo, woo. Bombard cannons are obviously huge. Is it not Red's fault for not having it walled like Blue? No, because of the approach of the game, right? Like, if the situations would have been reversed, this isn't a wall that actually works at this stage either, right? Man. This is interesting. Like any little attack upgrade matters here as well. Like iron casting could make such a big difference. It's 150 pop versus 160. Red's 30 Vils behind. Bombard cannons ready for some shots on the Arbs as the Arbs back away. That's not where you want to be. The Mamelukes have some range. They choose not to attack, though. The Arbalest actually had a great... Oh! Oh, man, he realized the Bombard cannons were there, so he had to pull away. Great raids here for Uzzi. Still, the Arbs have to stop this. And now we're maybe seeing the beginning of the end for Red. But once the Hussar numbers were a little bit higher. I mean, Red's micro has been really good, but... Oh, no! Boom! It all goes down! Lost 60 Arbalest there, it looked like. Maybe a little bit less than that. But obviously a great highlight. And a great game, guys. Red was dancing a lot there over the last 20, 30 seconds. But he didn't have the eco this game. And, you know, it was a really tricky game for him. I was really impressed that he didn't die in early castle. Because I think he lost 6 villagers there. I was incredibly surprised, actually, that he had a villager lead after that exchange. But I think what made the difference for him was he didn't get the Night Mass going. He didn't get an army comp rolling until Blue already had the middle. And until Blue was already doing like a lot to stop him from having the middle. And I think the biggest moment in this game was actually when he was in a fine spot. This moment here. So at this stage, I actually want to check resources collected. That's crazy, right? So this is a very close game right here. But then he places the castle. This is the weirdest thing. Like, it's such a brain fart moment from him. His opponent has a siege workshop. He places the castle, and then he just leaves. And from his perspective, obviously, he doesn't know what Blue's doing. But Blue's going to see that because Blue has a building there. So losing those 15 villagers changed the game. I think if he doesn't lose those vills, if that castle doesn't get delayed, Red's able to accomplish more. Red can create more. And Red has better timings even possibly to go to the Imperial Age. He already was faster to go to the Imperial Age, so I think that was the biggest moment in the game. And just like a real frustrating one if you're Red because of how obvious it looks when you spectate it. All right, game number 2. Uzzi looked really good in game number 1, especially with his aggression. And we have some Arabia action. I by Power lost the first game. Many people here felt like he put up a fight that took him further in a game than we thought many could make. We thought he was probably finished off there in game number 1. Sorry. Here he has the Hindustanis, a civilization which doesn't have many weaknesses, up against a civilization in the Chinese, which also doesn't have many weaknesses. And I like the matchup. I think it's a pretty close one. I think for the Hindustanis, having the cheaper villagers and having the crazy camels with full skirm line probably matters more than anything. I don't think the Gulam is really part of the conversation as much because the Chinese are not always going to go for archers. But, you know, for the Chinese, the conversation is starting with more villagers, cheaper technologies, and more specifically, the beginning of each age. Their weakest point is going to be early feudal. Their weakest point then, even though it's not as weak, is probably early castle. Yeah, even that's like a stretch. I don't think they're really weak in early castle. It's more so early feudal. So Dark Age is important. You know, are you walling? Sometimes you want to wall to preserve your Vill lead, but then if you wall too much, you don't have army production or you can't afford certain upgrades. Are you finding your sheep, your rhinos? Have you pushed deer? All these things matter a lot. So the first 5 minutes are just so crucial. Like finding your resources so you can comfortably push in 2 deer is always so nice, and that's been the case so far for Uzzi. As far as the maps are concerned, I think Red's map is more straightforward. But if Blue were to get his map walled, he has more within his walls if he walls between the wood lines. And also the north of the map doesn't really stick out to me as that important. So I mean, there are resources there, but they're just really close together. So this is going to be a lot more like east-west focused than it is going to be north-south focused. I think I would prefer the Hindustanis because you don't have to play as perfectly. Like the cheaper villagers just have a way of allowing you to catch up and do things that other civilizations can't do. And then like, again, they've just got so many options combined with that. I just feel like it's more smooth, but I think if civilizations are played to their peak... Actually, no. If civilizations are played to their peak, Chinese die. But, like... but I think, like, if civilizations are played to their peak in feudal castle, I think Chinese actually have a better castle age. Let's put it that way. I was just thinking, okay, so, like, Chinese, maybe, like, Halb Chukunu, but then I was thinking Bombard Cannon, Imp Camel, Elite Gulam, like, and that's before you talk about the Elephant Rams. Like, I feel like Hindustanis, granted, in, like, a deathmatch scenario, might be a little bit better, but the game's not that simple, of course, so. Louise, these are not deciders, so this is round 3. So I don't know who the winner of this best of 5 faces, but the best of 5s that'll happen next week are the deciders to get into gold. So clearly, like, really talented players, but still not good enough, right? And I think, trying to remember in the bracket, I feel like Uzzi was in, I think he'll be up against Lix. And I am going to spoil a couple of the best of 5s that have happened that I won't be casting right now. So if for whatever reason you don't want to hear about it, maybe mute for a second. But if I'm right, I think on the other side, so in the other, like, semifinal, you could call it, I think it was Lix Ozone. And Evan's confirming that in chat. And yeah, Lix won 3-0 there. So Lix was always my favorite in that whole group to qualify. So whoever wins here will be facing Lix. I by Power might know him very well because Lix is a Chinese legend. Uzzi, of course, will be aware of Lix's talent as well. So we'll see who ends up winning here, obviously. But so far, I mean, Uzzi just showed how cutthroat he can be, right? Like, he's incredibly cutthroat and incredibly aggressive. And I would expect the same if he can get things rolling in feudal. So he clicks up 22 pop. 28 seconds of TC idle time is all he had, despite starting with 0 food in the bank, so that was clean. He does go double lumber camp here, which for the classic players is always going to make him think tower. Like, think old Vivi style if you've been around a long time. Double lumber camp there just incentivizes a tower. I'm not sure I like that decision. You've got big wood lines back here. And it kind of feels like any way you slice it, that wood line's going to be forward, or more forward than that would be. Uzzi's going to try and get away here. I buy powers up a little faster, but Uzzi sensed it, so Uzzi brings the villager, and that's good all-around play from both players. Very well played from Uzzi, obviously, because he doesn't want to lose that scout yet. And then I buy power, realizing the situation. Still ready to get some hits. Uzzi's waiting. Even fight. Boom, boom. 22 HP versus 15. Chukunu shred Gulam, so full Chukunu and Halbs and Chinese win. Yeah, it's not that simple. Chukunu are slow. Gulams can raid, right? It's like a completely different conversation than that. But yeah, I think Chukunu, you know, if it's that type of game where you have defensive castles everywhere and you build up towards Chukunu, maybe that is something you want. But it's not as simple as who wins fighting this unit, because the faster units are able to pull away, which players tend to do a lot, right? They're not just going to blindly go into bad fights. All right. Also, I think Chukunu take way longer to produce than Gulams, right? Not to mention Chukunu rely on more blacksmith upgrades than Gulams, so it's, again, it's a whole different conversation. But I haven't seen them fight, so I'd like to see it at some point. So maybe we'll see it this game. They're super close together. And again, the Chinese, they have the advantage of the cheaper technologies, more food on their farms. So you just tend to want to open up defensively with them. And Uzzi was later to the stable, so he's later to the scout numbers. But I like how he's played it. And he's actually feeling confident now to move out. Look, he had a spearman here. Red saw that. And now Red's coming this way, and Red sees another spearman. Now, once you get 4 scouts, you see most players fight the 1 spearman. But Uzzi doesn't want to sit around. So let's see Red's awareness. Because from Red's perspective, as I mentioned in Dark Age, it's way easier to know what to do with this map. And dang! Oh, no, he didn't get the walls down. Oh, that's so sad. He had the right idea, but he had the wrong tile. And so he does lose the villager despite reacting pretty quickly there. So Uzzi the first to find a villager kill. And I buy Power is going to be feeling some pressure to do damage. As it's actually 4 scouts here from Uzzi. He's not leaving either. And Uzzi, even with a little gate there. Okay. Double Spearman here for iBuy Power. He should be fine. He's actually going to have 3 in his base. Whoa, did you see that? The scout just stopped. That I've seen that before. That's actually not on Uzzi. That was just a game bug. Can you imagine, like, if that made a really big difference in the game? It's a weird pathing thing. I think when a PC lags, that happens. I'm not sure if that's something they can ever avoid from happening, but at the end of the day, just took 1 additional hit. He'll be happy he killed the villager, and Uzzi's looking good. Game 1, he was the aggression. Game 2, he's defended from the aggression, despite being very close. He's adding a range now, and again, I think the main thing of worry for him is just the fact of how easy it is for one player to play behind walls versus the other player playing open. Like, Uzzi's going to want to break in, but he's not really going to be able to break in. And he's made a lot of scouts, too. He has 6 scouts, and he's making another one. Maybe a time to cancel that one. It's not bad to have scout numbers, especially if you're going to have ranged units. Maybe you could bring the archers here. But could be frustrating for him to find walls, and then his opponent's scouts, the weak scouts, the lower number of scouts, will loop in and kill a villager there. Well played. Look at the blocking from Red, too. That's sick. That is so sick. Dang. Oh, speaking about cutthroat, that was awesome. A lot of players just get 1 villager there. He knew the one was basically a kill at that point and only needed 1 scout on it. Used the other 3 to focus down there. Oh, but now we've got archers here, right? So how long can you house wall behind? Uzzi doesn't have as much food in the bank, but he's got a massive army, and it looks like full feudal. So Red's going to drop a tower. The Red's killed more eco than Uzzi has. I really like the tower idea. And now he's going to go to stone, too, so we might actually see the Golem. And fletching on the way. So much more feudal age investment here for the Mexican. As these scouts go in for another villain. Uzzi's not happy about it, but it's going to die. Doink! It's dead. I tell you what you do here, though, guys. Oh, my God. Wait, what? Excuse me? Go back? Oh, no, guys. This right here, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm sorry for any villagers watching. This right here is why villagers have to die sometimes, okay? Blue is doing fine. He's got a good army. His opponent's being greedy. Doesn't really have a lot of army. The scouts are going to attack walls. There's archers behind. His opponent doesn't have anything to deal with that. But what Uzzi does is he thinks, wow, I need to save this poor innocent villager because I've left this villager exposed. So he looks here, and as he looks here, he loses every single scout. Obviously a misclick for him as well. It looks like his archers actually were tasked onto the house instead of the spearmen. But that, my friends, is painful. So that is why villagers have to die sometimes. Don't get upset about it, poor villagers. It's for the better of your people and your economy. But oh my goodness. That was so bad. That was so painful. Because if he had 6 scouts and 2 archers, this can get punished. But now suddenly he doesn't have as much to pressure the houses. 9 to 4 KD, including Red being in a position where he'll be in Castle Age and be completely fine. And he's killed more villagers. Dang. And he actually has 2 scouts still that he can scout the rest of the map with. So dang. One player is very far away from clicking up to the next stage and is going to have to use the market. And the other player has actually smartly just sent 1 to stone just to recoup the cost of the tower and is probably going to play into camels. Dang. I wonder how that fight goes if the 2 archers weren't tasked to the house. I feel like, as iBuy Power is also playing very smart here with house walls, I feel like if the archers were tasked to the spearmen, all the scouts still die as long as they're moved. Like, it was kind of risky to move the spearmen in there. But also maybe attentive from Red as he kills another villager. Oh my god. So frustrating for Uzzi, who still can't click up. He's 2 gold away. Okay. Oh, finally clicks up. I'm losing my mind. Yeah, like, imagine if there were more if there was constant scout pressure here, it would have been so good. What I was about to say is, if those scouts were alive, you would just attack the stable. Because it's harder to quick wall behind a stable, and red needs that stable in the next stage. So if red wants to drop its second town center, red could do that. Red's going to go 2 stables, though, so it's going to open up with camels. These camels attack faster. So they're better against archers or feudal age units in general than your average units are. Red's continuing to make archers, which is not bad against camels in general, though. You're always a little worried that Hindustanis can go for ghulams, but apparently that's not the case. And Uzzi's probably feeling the pressure. Uzzi's like, in the back of his mind thinking, well, I've got to kill a lot right now because we've lost more villagers, and he's in Castle Age faster, so... I like the double mining camp idea. I like the 2 stables double range idea. Like, all of this very much suits the situation. And he's even adding more spearmen, too. And meanwhile, we just have red breaking out for the second town center. So red's just going to try and do damage with the early wave. And even if damage is done or not, you're going to have the eco lead at home. Now, remember the conversation we had earlier. Yeah, like, archer spearman is good against camels, but camels are faster, right? So it's always complicated, depends on how the players engage. And so for red, I think that in your mind, you're like, well, okay, I think I might need a siege workshop. So that might be in the back of his mind. But for now, he's still trying to move around with all of his army. I like how active he's been with this. I like how much army he's making. And I also like the fact that he hasn't committed to armor. Like, honestly, guys, don't commit to +2 armor on camels that frequently because it doesn't help you out that much against archers. Camels, the big reason they're good against knights in the first place is because of the bonus damage. Feels like a weird tip that might not be useful for you a lot, but getting, like, the upgrades that he has right now feels perfect with camels. And just like that, he's going to kill villagers with camels. Not too bad. Yeah, I always... Like, if I'm going knights against archers, you get +2, and suddenly the archers feels like they tickle the knights, right? But... You know, that's just a general bit of advice. Don't, like, not get armor upgrades at all on camels and then blame me for it. If you don't win the game, because it mattered in that situation. Man, does anyone else feel frustrated for Uzzi right now? Like, I'm personally frustrated for him. I don't know where that villager's going. Every time he wants to go forward, he wants to do damage. And look what he found, guys. Look what he saw. Oh, he didn't see it, actually. I was wrong, but there's a siege workshop waiting at the perfect spot there for I Buy Power. I Buy Power for TC number 3 now, so has a 10 villager lead. Still has the camels on the roam trying to find kills, and reacts to Uzzi coming in on this side, and is even looping the scorpions behind. Remember the previous game how the scorpions moved out? It's not something that he's doing this game, as he kills more villagers with camels. Camels, man. Are you kidding me? Great defense. Great defense as he drops a market and pulls away from it too, so the foundation holds, and it's just buying time for the scorpions. Uzzi might even be tempted to run through here, but when there's a tower and scorpions, you probably don't want to. It's now 53 villagers versus 47. Uzzi's done a great job. He's done a better job, actually. At least I think with the boom, because just from a pure skill standpoint, I feel like it's been harder for him to be in the position he's in than it is for Red to be in the position he's in. But Red's insistence on raiding with camels is hilarious to me, and it's kind of worked out for him. All that said, here he has to meet up with his scorpions. He'll take the scouts, run away from the spearmen, and now it's going to be scorpion camel, and now Uzzi needs a little bit more. Uzzi very light on gold right now, I noticed. He's got a lot of food income and a lot of wood income, not too much in the way of gold. And Red's got a lot on stone. Red's building up towards a castle drop, and a castle drop could be deadly on this map. They're so close together. And these camels, this is probably not something he's calculated. Oh, no. Don't take that fight, Mr. I Buy Power. There you go. That's better. I think Siege would be so nice for Uzzi. Like, a couple mangonels would be so nice for him right now. Actually, I like the addition of his own camels, because it's a melee unit that isn't a waste. So, like, knights would be a waste against camels. It matches your opponent's army a little bit and still gives you this opportunity. And it's so much faster than the siege I mentioned. That's so well played from Uzzi. Wow. I don't know if it's going to be great from him in the end because he didn't get the other Scorpion. But that was a really good choice, adding more camels. Let's look at the food collected for a second. I want to make a point. Okay, food collected, a little bit of head for red. But look at the resources floating for red. Look at how many camels he's made. Look at the resources floating for Uzzi. Who didn't have Bodkin. He didn't have Bodkin arrow that whole time. Wow. You know, a trap that's easy to fall into, guys, when you know you're behind, is this right here. On this type of map, you still think, let's loop around. Let's do damage somewhere else because I can't do damage in the middle. But what this becomes is a giant invitation stamped to your neighbor's door that says, hey, we're having a party at my gold at 31 minutes and you're invited. And it's kind of awkward because it's not really a party you want to have, but then you feel obligated to host it. You have to respond to it. The castle's up in your face, and then you hate your life. If Uzzi's army was at home, in combination with all of this, then this could maybe be defended. But it is very far away from all that. And I'm waiting for the villagers to come forward, and here they are! Party at 31 minutes! Right there on the gold. Let's go! And meanwhile, this army is, I mean, okay, it kills a Scorpion, whatever. Oh, God, this is so painful. Well, he reacts, right? And I don't know if he would have won the fight had he even been here with his crossbows and spearmen. So it's hard to say. But that castle going up is going to be a nightmare for him. Because if he runs with the Vills, they die. But if he doesn't run with the Vills, they die. So either way, you need defense for this, and the camels are like nom 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 on the Vills. And that castle is going to mean that Ghulams can be created as well, which I think is actually a very good unit. And this army comes home pretty much empty-handed. And I don't know if you've ever heard this, guys, but the Hindustanis also have a bonus where their stable units do more damage against buildings. It's not just camels anymore, it's stable units. So, I mean, all he has is camels. But you could actually shred this TC way faster than you think. So now Uzzi's kind of like pushed away from this. Great damage control from him as he's 30 villagers behind. Yes, Chinese have the options. But is the game going to feel as clean as it feels when the villagers are this cheap with Hindustanis? That siege workshop will go down. I think Uzzi's opportunity now comes in with a castle drop here. He has to make this super messy and take this hill. But how's he going to do that? Is he going to send the Vills now? He's going to send the Vills! Let's go! But yeah, honestly, if I'm red, I attack this town center with my camels, and it would probably have gone down already. Yeah, the starting scout also gets the bonus damage. It might start in, like, Feudal Age, so I don't know if it would work in Dark Age, but any scout. Yeah, see how fast it goes down? Goes down really fast. And even if you lose a couple camels in the process, you're going to kill all the villagers. So I think it's a good decision. Let's go, Uzzi. You got to drop this right in his face. Maybe he drops it here. I kind of prefer this because then you can take this stone and drop more potential castles. See, I mean, this is between two TCs, but then red can take this air. Okay, red's gonna drop a tower. Red's coming home! Red's coming home! Red's coming home! Oh my god! I'm standing right now and I literally just jumped up and down. Did a little high knee thing. Thank god I don't have a camera on. Oh god, I think this could be denied. The camels are better for the Hindustanis. You got the Ghulams, which will take out the archers. Castle's at 70%. And red just pulls a little bit of army over here to the villagers. Combined with the towers, that's going to be denied. And we have ourselves a tie series. Really good game there from iBuyPower. I felt like the obvious moment in the game that stands out in my mind. Well, first off, it wasn't just an obvious moment. iBuyPower killed a lot of villagers in Feudal and played very clean and crisp. But the other thing, I think this game goes differently if Uzzi doesn't lose those scouts, man. Uzzi losing 6 scouts, such a costly loss. The reason he was later to Castle just because he made those scouts. And those scouts would have allowed his archers to move forward more freely and to possibly break in and do damage to red before he made it to Castle Age. A tricky map gen, obviously, right? For the player who's defensive. This castle was a clear sign at that. I think it was actually the correct play from Uzzi to try and go forward with the castle, because otherwise he'll just get outboomed and he'll get outplayed. So while this looks sad, he was behind at that point and he needed to try it. About 4,000 more resources collected there for red, and at close to a 2-to-1 KD as we move into game 3. What? He's gone for the Bengalis. Okay. Game 3, best of 5. Titans League Silver. I'm going to do something that's a little, not controversial, but something that goes against what I believe in, okay? I'm going to break my own moral code. And because I want to cast more games today, and we're on a tight schedule here, guys, because I'm going to be farming in Farming Simulator later on this evening, and I very much take that seriously. We are going to speed up through parts of just the Dark Age in this particular game. We've got I Buy Power Game 3 on Cross. He's actually gone for the Bengalis, which is the first for me. I mean, they get +2 villagers when they arrive to each age from their town center. They have a Navy healing bonus as I Buy Power saves his villager there, as Uzzi's trying to snipe it. I'll try and think if there's any other relevant bonuses. I mean, I think the big thing on land eventually could be the fact that they just don't get knights. But Uzzi's got the Japanese, and Japanese, flexible with the cheaper mining camps, lumber camps, yada yada, faster attacking infantry, great fishing ships, and just overall bonuses we could talk about all the time. So I don't mean to diminish the importance of what these guys have done here in this Dark Age, but I wanted to speed through it a little bit because I want to make sure we get as many games done as possible. And I don't know, like, I think of all the sets I'm casting, it's going to be sets where I know it goes to at least 4 games. Spoilers, obviously that's like literally the shortest the series can be at this point, so not really spoilers, but I don't know if we're talking 90-minute games or 20-minute games or what. But Uzzi's going to try what he had tried in the past when he had played Kamigawa. And it looks to me like he's going to go forward here. So he's got the barracks in the middle. He's making militia. And he's going to try and find a spot to drop a tower. You can kind of tell Red's concerned that there's going to be a sneak villager here to take his fish. And Red's also sending a villager this way to try and dock. But Red doesn't have a barracks yet. So, like, Man-at-Arm Tower could just end the game here. Depending on where the Man-at-Arms hit, what they scout, obviously. And then where that tower goes. Why did we just move to a best of 5 question mark? Well, it's best of 5 in this round. This has been a best of 5 from the start, if you didn't already know that. So, round 1, round 2 is best of 3s. And then round 3 and round 4 are always best of 5s. Oh, man. Does Red see this tower? Okay, he does, actually. No, he doesn't. And he just chose to fight this off like a madman. But it's actually good for him that he does this, because if those villagers would have been hit by the tower and then the Man-at-Arms, he must have saw the vills. Yeah, okay, he knows something's up here. And yeah, he had already pre-towered it too. So he's trying to make his own tower, but damage control's needed. And oh god, I'd hate to be a villager. Oh my goodness, this is crazy. This is his only wood line right now, so he can forget about fishing over here. Some crazy pressure from Uzzi, and this is how he had pressured Kamigawa. Only that is his entire, like, this is all of his wood. He's lost 2 villagers already. He's going to lose his scout, which can really hurt the long run. He doesn't, oh, I thought he made a second lumber camp. It's a mining camp. Oh, this is so bad. Meanwhile, Uzzi sitting at home, adding more fishing ships. Even adding a galley so he can patrol his shoreline so he never loses control of that to a sneaky dock. He made it through here and is attacking the mining camp, which isn't so pretty, but he's going to find another villager kill. Quick wall, dead. Archer's now here, and poor Red is going to need wood to make a tower. Another villager goes down. So we have 4 eco kills, and Uzzi's now going to... Oh, this is over, man. This is such a good strat. Uzzi's just going to dock his pond and make fire galleys, and Red doesn't have the wood now to defend from it. Holy crap. I mean, I don't want to be that caster who's like, this is GG and say it too early, but this has been amazing. You still can't easily defend your base. You can barely afford to make ships. And the enemy's fish is safe. Enemy's been taking their wood. Enemy's been taking everything they need. And you're going to lose another villager right... Ah! No, not right there. Okay. I mean, maybe it's manageable, but can we look at the eco efficiency? Worker efficiency last minute, 41%. The positive here is you have enough for 2 towers now. And he doesn't need to take any more stone if he doesn't want to. So you can tower your golds. You can get back to wood. He actually is making fire galleys, which is actually pretty good. Oh my god, it would be so rough for Uzzi if this galley here isn't set on a patrol here, and it never will be, by the way. You always patrol where you think you're most likely to be snook. Suddenly, I kind of believe there's a chance. Don't ask me why. We're going to see the tower get placed here to take these villagers off of that gold. Red could see that with his own tower. Killing Japanese fish is always difficult. Red, where are you going here? Okay. She's like, guys, can I join? I'm just a lonely villager. Just a friendly lady looking to pick some berries over here. And now she's like, oh, crap. I've been spotted. Well, okay, I thought that could maybe be something good for Red, but apparently that's not going to be possible. And obviously, Uzzi's not finished in this area. Uzzi's got his archers. He's actually now going to use his archers as part of the engagement here. Now, Bengali ships, they will heal up. But not at the rate in which, like, an even battle swings all that much. If you're talking multiple ships. The 1v1 situation, it absolutely will. I mean, the positives here for Red is he's floating a lot of resources. Don't ask me how. We'll see if this lady survives. And he's actually has as many fishing ships as his opponent, and has a race in this corner as well. Uzzi's invested a lot into this. And now Red saves the vill! Red saves the villager. Dang. I mean, this tower's super annoying, but it hasn't been walled in, so Red can maybe rush it down. Red's now leaving the stone. 4-1 eco KD's not as bad as this could have been. And now Red's actually going to defend his fish. He's not going to lose a single fishing ship here. Because Uzzi's not really focusing the ships. He will lose one fishing ship. No, he won't! What? Huh. Also, he batters down the tower because the archers are out of position. The archers were delaying the market, and now Red's just going to finish the market. And Red could actually click up first. What is happening? This is crazy, man. 11-7 KD for the player who's made no army on land. But now he has to buy some stone to make a tower because he cannot lose access to this gold. And there he goes. All right. Uzzi trying his best here to delay. He's got a lot of wood right now, Uzzi. So, you know, maybe he needs to think a little bit more about fishing on the left side. But he's doing it now. Would love to see him get an archer here, but that's easier said than done. And even this is good pressure from Uzzi. Just being as annoying as possible. Idle time, idle time, idle time, idle time for the enemy. It's killing another villager there. He's going to get another villager kill. Okay, now things are starting to really add up here. And the thing is, this tower just sitting here, like, this tower's presence is still enough. Like, I don't even think this is realistic here for Red. Because, like, I could see what he's trying to do. He's trying to trap these vills. But you're going to lose villagers in the process. Oh, did that villager escape? She did. She's also standing over here now. She's seen the whole world. And, oh god, Red didn't take out the dock yet, and now the fishing ships will go down. And then over here, we got double dock from Uzzi, and suddenly things are looking better and better for Uzzi. Crazy hold from Red. I mean, Red is up. The sad thing for Red is you have very little gold income, you have tons of wood income, and your Civ doesn't get knights. Look at the HP on these villagers, guys. Like, Red could have lost his whole eco this game, man. And not having food eco, I guess, isn't a bad thing if your civ doesn't get knights. But at least you want wood and gold so you could make siege or something. Or archers. Great job from Uzzi, who actually escaped here with these vills and will make another tower. And he's got this guy fully surrounded right now. Okay, another dock here from Uzzi. Horse color now for red. He's probably thinking I need food eco in some way other than fish. The only thing I can think that he really gains from Castle Age is siege. And he will get +2 vills from his TC. That's cool. But, like, I think for Uzzi, once you're in Castle, I think you just mix in one stable and just go for a couple scouts and knights to pick off the siege. And then you just try and keep your towers alive, basically. You don't actually have to go all in for the kill. Look at the vision he's got. This is insane pressure. He dominated this area. He has vision on this area, and this as well. Without Town Watch, too. Imagine with Town Watch how much more he'd see here. All right, there's red with the Siege Workshop. So I think you've got to go monks, too, because... Okay, or you just call it the GG. I was going to say, you have to try to expect that he's going to add a stable, have some monks there to convert those knights so the siege doesn't get picked off. But, like, he sees his opponent... Actually, he called the GG when he hit Castle Age, which is kind of rare for tourney games. I see that in Low Elo Legends all the time, where people who know they're dead, they won't call the GG until they hit the next stage. My brain told me that he saw blue was in Castle, but blue's still a minute away. But anyways, Uzzi, after losing the previous game, bounces right back with his... what is clearly his build order with Japanese. Like, he loves that. He did that against Kamigawa as well. Man-at-Arm, tower, and then you just brute force your way to their dock. And then force the pressure. Like, you always have initiative. You're going to have archers before them. You're forcing them on the stone, possibly, for towers. And then they're just trying to play catch-up. And everything that they do to react to you, you're always one step ahead. And allows, of course, for you to do everything else on the map, too. So, GG. See that? That's a Huns thing that people used to do back in the day. So I Buy Power has been around. He just does that to get the villagers right back into TC as quickly as possible because you don't have to make houses. So you don't see the Town Bell used intentionally at a high level all the time. Guys, I think this is very, very bad for I Buy Power. I'm going to be honest with you. The previous game didn't look good when he got Man-at-Arm tower rushed. And Uzzi showed how good he can be on a map that's similar, but not as crazy when it comes to the tower potential. We now have Atacama. I Buy Power can't lose this game or the next game. And Uzzi's got the civ that gets the Man-at-Arm upgrade free. And surely that's going to come with towers. Now, I Buy Power does have the more flexible civilization. Not having to build houses does add up. Huns just feel very smooth. So if he can survive that early pressure, I think he actually has the better civilization in the mid-game. And, you know, another thing that comes to mind with the Huns is it's a lot easier for them to dock. Not having to rely on the barracks being really early in feudal to go for the man-at-arms or the militia, I guess, means that they're probably going to ease their way to feudal, get some fishing ships out. Name of the game, as always, when you're up against the Bulgarians and a tower, is just do not die. So, with that in mind... from a caster's perspective, I think red should wall this. Like, even just 4 or 5 palisade walls here, and then you can small wall the rest of your wood in. I think that's really helpful. Because, let me think. Like, okay, like here, if you wall here, tower still denies all your wood, right? But, like, this is a pretty big chunk of wood. And I'm not saying you want to full wall all the wood, but... just makes it more awkward for blue to get a tower that's effective. Because what a lot of players are going to do is they're going to go wall, 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 wall. Then blue will go fast feudal. He'll have his man-at-arms attacking those walls, and then he just towers right next to you. And your villagers have to run because they'll die by the tower, and then they just die to the man-at-arms. So, yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking at the moment. As I heard another bell noise. I Buy Power here. Now, when it comes to the whole, you know, conversation on man-at-arms and towers, blah, blah, blah. I don't like skipping the dock. And that's the one thing that I just kind of assumed that the Bulgarian player would do. Because if you skip the dock, you're going to have the man-at-arms faster. But again, it's like you have to kill because not having fishing ships can delay you. And he's going to end up docking over here. And I assume this is intentional too. I actually really like this move. Something that he might be using to help with the catching up the feudal and still relying on a really fast feudal time is bringing 2 villas to build the dock. And that's then 2 villagers on the shorefish. And villagers on shorefish is faster than villagers on sheep, for example. So that could have been unintentional, and he just figured, well, okay, screw it. Like, I'll just leave it over here. Or maybe it was part of his thinking. What is the difference between a drush and a trush? Drush is a Dark Age rush, so that's militia that are made in Dark Age. Whereas Man-at-Arms would be making the militia while you're on your way to feudal and then upgrading them. A trush is just a tower rush. And then other Age of Empires 2 terminology can be a little confusing. By the way, Red's not going for a dock. So Red says, like, I'm not going to go for water, even though he scouted it. So he might actually be the one with the faster uptime here and not the Bulgarians. Needs to drop off food. There he goes. To me, it looks like this could be fast scouts. But yeah, there's a lot of different like acronyms which can be confusing for people. I think the most confusing one is flush. Like flush is archers, but I feel like people just say arch. Like, bro, what strat you going for? Arch. Like flush, I don't know where that originated from actually, but I've always known that to be archers. So people would say drush flush, but I think it's just because they want an ush acronym, and they ended up with flush for some reason. Smush makes a little bit more sense because it's a siege monk push. So SM ush, you know. Yeah. So I don't know if that helped you guys, but there's your answer. Okay, so Uzzi is he still gonna try and go forward here? You see the time difference between the player who's docked and the player who's not. Sorry, I'm just trying to situate things in my room. Sorry if you heard something there, but like. Uzzi's going to try and tower, but if he would have gone for a normal uptime, he'd be able to make the tower right now. And he'd also have the militia. So he's, you know, pros and cons here. The pro is he has a lot of fish. The con is that this is all delayed past what he would want. What's Red up to now? Flush should be feudal rush. Yeah, but that could be a lot of different things. Like people say scrush for scout rush. The way I learned it, though, is like just literally say arch or scouts. Like if someone, what strat you going for? Just say SCTS, scouts. Or AR, or just spell arch, you know? Okay, so we've got a range opening. A scout here attacked, but didn't do much damage. And I'm not a big fan of the ranged opening, honestly. Like the tower's still going to go up here for Uzzi. And that's still a really good tower. And the archer range was super delayed. Uzzi's food eco is going to be awesome behind this. He won't be worried that archers counter this in the long term. And Red notices that there's a tower going up here. And just like in the previous game, he tries to go for a counter tower. This is important, actually. I think Red's going to win this somehow. No, he's not, actually. And this is precisely what I meant. Now, Huns don't need the wood like other civilizations do throughout a whole game, but this is just like crazy pressure. And he's got the fishing ships behind it. I think Uzzi wins this game. This is the worst possible scenario for Red, I think. Now, obviously, the man-at-arms will have to run away in a second due to the fact that Red might complete the tower. Oh, man. Yet again, though, Red's done such a great job keeping his villas alive. Okay, but you don't want to lose these villas, though. You still got to rotate these villas in here. Okay, Uzzi should have a follow-up. Uzzi will be happy to see this. Meanwhile, he's got this. He's going for scouts. Interesting. So choosing not to go for skirmishers, which would be the direct counter to Red. And finally there, Uzzi finds a villager kill. He's 5 eco behind. Flush is for feudal rush and AOK. Archer rush was the only viable option in feudal. Yeah, maybe that explains, like, if it was the only option, why that would be the term that people would use. And that's where it originated from, right? Okay, this is important. Red tried to do a wall-in trick in the previous game, and if he... No way! He could kill all these fills! Oh my god! Uzzi's panicking! Oh my god, he can't escape! Uzzi! He can't escape! Red's gonna build the gate! The villagers are trying to repair. Red also lost a villager here. Oh my god. Hold on a moment. This is really hard to follow. 2 eco kills on both sides. Blue just ran into the town center because life is stressful over here. Oh, wow. What a game changer, man. What a crazy game changer. So now things aren't quite as ridiculous. Keep in mind, that was under some insane pressure, guys. Like, Red could have lost the game throughout that whole push, and he would have lost the series. And he's a massive underdog against this guy. So now you've got 29 eco for both. Big highlight. Like, maybe we could get that whole sequence. Maybe edit that together and make it as short or something. That was really cool. The tower going up, and then Red being behind on the tower and saving all the vills. Look how many weak vills are here. Leading into the eventual trap, which has him even now with Uzzi. Now, in terms of resources collected, we'll have to check that later. But he's got some spearmen here. He's got some archers. You've got the armor upgrade in for Uzzi, and Uzzi gets his revenge there with a nice little vill kill. Now, this obviously has helped, but now the food's starting to disappear. And now farming eco might be a little bit more important. And iBuyPower, with his experience, with his game sense, now realizes if I'm going archer spearman, my opponent's going to add skirms. So let's drop the stable, which he has now behind this. More farming eco is needed, obviously. That'd be the same for both players. And Uzzi has forging now, so he's got armor and he's got forging. Power of the Bulgarians, obviously, is getting the cheaper and faster blacksmith upgrades. This army could do some damage, but there's a couple skirms waiting, and Red, he pushes this away. So similar situation. And Red's now going to dock, so he's docking later, which I kind of don't mind. It's still very helpful, right? It's still another unit you can produce economy out of, or another building you can produce economy out of. And I like the thought process of just not, like, giving up on it, which some players would do, as this is going to be the 5th eco kill here for Red. It's going to be a little doink. She's dead. 9 army for Blue, 7 army for Red. Blue should be able to kill this, no problem, though. He's got so many upgrades. These archers didn't have a single upgrade. Feels like it's going to be more about scouts than anything right now, and Blue doesn't have any spearmen, so he's probably not expecting it. But you also might not even worry about it, because you have more scouts and more upgrades. Does anyone even wall on this map? I mean, you wall in some ways. Like small walling typically, but full walling this map is a disaster. You should never get away with full walling on this map. I like how hidden the scouts are at the moment. So Blue's going to run in. Well, now he's going to see the scouts, but he thought that if he had the skirms for any spearmen, that he'd be okay. Suddenly the skirms aren't in that high of a number. Also, no fletching kind of hurts, right? He went for the armor instead. And now the skirms are getting pushed away, and the spearmen are going to live a pretty long and healthy life as far as I'm concerned, because there's a lot of them out there to work together, and the skirms just get picked off there. So sloppy from Uzzi. And he's going to mix in some archers too, it seems, and he's adding more stables, so he's going to go for more scouts. Red, though, has more eco now, because he killed more villagers, and now he's adding fishing ships. And also at this time, the fishing ships are going to be more valuable for Red than they are for Uzzi. Uzzi got into his position earlier because of the fish. Uzzi, desperate for that villager kill, takes some big hits. And now Red with a counter attack here too. This is so well played from Red. I'm very impressed. Again, I played this guy on ladder a bunch of times, but I never really thought that he'd be able to be competitive in tourney situation. At least against someone like Uzzi. Another villager will go down here for Uzzi, and now the Hun production speed from their stables is starting to pay off. And if this becomes the scout war, I'm always going to prefer the Huns. Bloodlines isn't in for either player. Upgrades might be a little bit higher right now for blue, but that's still not a fight that went all that well for him. We have Bloodlines now coming in for red. He runs right back through his gate. Spearman take a nice little fight here. Not too bad, actually. I think it's a pretty good fight, all things considered. And blue's kind of cut off from the rest of his units. So we had Forging already for red. Now we have Bloodlines. So 65 HP scouts. We'll probably see the same for Uzzi. And we now have the second stable. And the thing that has been interesting for me with this red player is how casual he is with his decisions. Like, he never scrambles down something unless it's like a tower, I guess. But like this stable, okay, now he won't even finish it. But it was just like one Vil, you know, taking his time, using his time for everything else. 64 pop for Uzzi. Uzzi's got good farming eco with horse collar. He also is adding fish in the north, something red has not done. And Uzzi's got 9 scouts versus the 6 scouts now of iBuy Power. So iBuy Power needs to catch up in that regard. Uzzi, still no bloodlines. If he were to get that, he's definitely got the better army. HP is obviously a conversation too, and Uzzi knows it too, so he gets in close. He smushed him. He smushed him. Couple walls there from red. Red's realizing I need to engage soon, and now backs away from the gold. All right. There's bloodlines for Uzzi. What a game. What a game. Less than a minute of TC idle time for reds. That's an insane stat. And also a fight here before Uzzi gets bloodlines. Uzzi's not... I don't think he should force the fight before bloodlines, but it kind of looks like he's overextended a bit. And red will happily take this fight, I think. Even with Spearman in there, scouts with fully upgrades are kind of okay here. And the archers aren't that helpful. Not to mention a couple of villagers might get attacked by accident, and red's going to clear that. And when I say clear that, I mean, we'll also have an opportunity to kill the archers and kill the skirmishers, and then the spearmen at home stay alive. And it's 59 population versus 58. And with the double stable production from Huns, red looking pretty good. And this is going to force Uzzi to make a few more scouts as red thinks, actually, I'm going to make a market here. And wouldn't surprise me at all to see him just buy a little bit of food and just try and hold now. Because the opponent's always going to make more scouts. You expect that. You brace yourself for it. But it's like a fine line because you don't just want to stop, because if you stop, you can die. Oh, actually, I'm way wrong. He's actually just going to buy stone and make a tower. Wow, okay, well, that's a pretty costly tower. Probably because he doesn't want to make archers right now, and he knows his opponent's going to be doing that. And spearmen are going to be in jeopardy then for him, as Uzzi is going to try and stop the tower. He won't be able to. Tower going up, of course, means any archers and spearmen from Uzzi could be in jeopardy as well, as pathing hurts. Painful. Look at the idle TC time. 49 seconds! That's so sick, man. So impressed with this. Also, just the guts. Like, he reacts nicely. And he says, actually, if I need another tower, I'll just buy it. And here he goes with his scouts now. Now, Uzzi's super exposed, right? Uzzi's expecting to have enough pressure here where red's going to react to it. And Uzzi now senses, man, these guys are so good. He knows the situation, right? He knows that the army's going to make its way through, and he doesn't get the walls down. He has to leave. So that hurts. That should be another dead Vil. Over here as well is another villager that's exposed. Quick walls it, though. Very well played. Still has this threat, which red needs to respect and react to, and now red drops another tower over towards the wood. Things are all sort of messy in Uzzi's economy right now. He's not exactly collecting resources. He's got a lot of idols. But same could be said for red. As he's trying to pull villagers away, the tower was ill-advised. Oh, no! iBuy Tower probably won't complete this thing. It's a 90%, but he's going to lose so many Vils. Oh, sheesh. He probably sees the percentage and thinks he can do it. Tower denied at 97%. Meanwhile, kind of similar to what we saw in Game 2, he did lose a little bit of scout HP there as well. 53 to 52 with eco. Both players are going to be in Castle Age at similar times. You have the cheaper blacksmith upgrades for Bulgarians. So blue's going to have full upgrades. But Huns have the faster producing stables, and red's going to be on 3 stables and in Castle Age faster. Also, I like the Red's opportunity here in terms of the food eco to raid. Obviously, it's going to be the same for blue, but I feel like hopping in and out of the towers can save you in a pinch. Insta monastery now for red. This is going to be monks, obviously. 13 on gold. Scouts still running around. Scouts from both players can find a lot of value against monks in the long run. Could always see pikemen from Uzzi. Uzzi's got 9 spearmen, but some of those spearmen are forward and they're dying now. So maybe not. Good timing there from red. He's like, I want to clear this out before this becomes a problem for me. It's probably worth losing just one knight there. Does he have armor and attack? Just armor. I think I would try and get attack as well, as long as it doesn't slow down my numbers of knights. You are Bulgarians after all. That's one of your big bonuses here. Interesting. Sold some food, bought stone. So he might want a town center then. Lost another villager there, by the way. Red's still active with the scouts. House walling here on the wood lines. This map is extremely stressful. This is not going to be easy. And get ready for villagers to die left and right, man. This is so crazy. These guys are playing out of their minds right now. And iBuyPower's played way better than I ever expected here. Worth noting, he does not have the final armor upgrade right now, but we'll see how much that matters. Here, we've got a couple knights. Red's got the knight numbers. Here, red hops into the tower. Might have got a conversion there. Sorry if I missed that. But red keeps the villagers safe. Villagers die over here for Uzzi as well, as I think he wanted to town center the gold, and the numbers from red are just dominating, and he's even pulling back some of his weak knights there towards his monk. Uzzi doesn't have any knights on the way. He's just making spearmen. Uzzi is in big trouble. Like, this will actually lead to a donation of a knight as well if he doesn't realize this. Yeah, that's a free kill or a free conversion as we see a second town center from red. Still active with the scouts. Still active with the knights on the farms. And then he's got this group to worry about too. And that's a pretty good fight. I say it all the time, right? Like, spearmen die to knights so quickly. Pikemen is a slightly different story. The knights, if you control them properly, heal, you know, all those tiny things. Move them around, obviously. You can do this. And this force from this 2K1, 2200, or 21, 2200, depending on the weak player from China, is just looking insane. And he looks to really, like, almost be getting better and better here. He's going to add a range now for cav archers. So it's 2 range cav archers behind this as well. As there comes the fletching upgrade. And yeah, I mean, Uzzi's crippled by this. I don't think he'll lose many more villagers over the next couple of minutes. But, I mean, this town center's not really what you want. You probably want a little bit more wood coverage. And the army situation's not exactly what you want either. That said, he's making a lot more knights than he was a moment ago. So he should be able to deal with this. Good damage control. The TC will complete. The pikeman here could finally kill red scouts and knights that red's been a real pain with. I think red has reached the point where he can't, you know, he's tech switching now, so he can't deal with everything. But as I say that, he just dives in and micros away now because blue spots him. Yeah, I think docking the South Lake is just way too much work at this point and way too much focus. But man, even ballistics is going to be in. Really interesting from red. Like, he made a lot of knights and never went for final armor or attack. It's not something you see every day. That should be a dead monk. And cav archers also could sit in the choke point. Could be hugely beneficial for them. And red's heavy on stone for a castle drop. Or what you would assume is going to be a castle drop. Oh, God. Okay. Block the gap! Block the gap! There's even a villager there. That's really smart. Just, like, sit here with monks and cav archers, and what on earth is blue going to do? Red's still making knights, by the way, so he hasn't stopped the production of the knights. I really wish if I knew this guy was playing single queue or multi-queue. It feels like a really weird comment, but I can talk a little bit more about that later. To me, he feels like a single queue player, and it makes me love him even more. But that was not a good fight. That was not a good fight at all. His knights got on the other side of the choke point. And the choke point ended up hurting him instead of helping him. And now the knights are underneath the towers. You do have a decent amount of cav archers. You could have some monks show up here as well, so it might be short-lived for blue, but still damage, which is exactly what he wanted. As these knights loop in, and Uzzi has pushed it away. Uzzi is back in the game as he tries to get through over here as well, and he's going to find even more villager kills. This could even it out. This is a ridiculous fight. You know, for Uzzi, he really struggled for the knight numbers for a while. But as Red has been making the switch, Red killed a couple of villagers here too. But yeah, like, Uzzi's been able to bring it back. You know Red's trying to build up towards a castle based on that stone count. And he probably wanted the castle towards the middle because Atacama is all about that. But the knights get into the wood line. They've gone unchecked. Oh, no. And the one thing Blue is not doing is he's not killing cav archers. So that mass continues, and it's only going to get stronger and stronger and stronger. And this might be the moment now for Red. Honestly, all the villas in the towers, you're now builders. Just YOLO that castle forward. Maybe you just make it here, right? Because it still, like, prevents long-term wood control. These knights killed 8 villagers over here. Great value. What a crazy game. 78 villagers versus 53. Guys, look at Red's TC idle time. Is this Yo? Did Yo borrow his account? 57 seconds of TC idle time. He had 3 stable knights. 2 TCs. I could give credit to Huns, and I'd love to, because you know I'm obsessed with the Huns. Oh, God. Oh, God. That's painful. No bueno. Like, I could give credit to Huns and talk about how easy it is to play with Huns and how this comes down to the lack of houses, etc., etc. But we're just going to give credit to Red because that's still an insane stat. Huns or no Huns. And he's lost villagers. And he might even lose more villagers as he goes to get this castle up. But if Blue kills villagers, he loses his army. So I guess he decides that's his best route as the castle goes up. And now life gets really difficult for Uzzi. And we have a game 5. Again, like a 250, maybe even 300 elo difference between these players. I Buy Power is taking Uzzi into the 5th game. That's awesome. Dang, man. So, you know, the key moment in the early game was that trap. Because he was in such a bad spot when that tower went up. Because he couldn't apply damage to his opponent. His opponent had an eco lead. And all Uzzi was going to do was just back away with those vills, keep him alive. Everything was going to be fine. But Uzzi couldn't escape with the villagers. He got trapped in there because of the gate and the stone wall. And then later on, Red added fish. Red played it very well in early castle with the knight production and constantly moving around with different groups. The reason that I ask whether or not he is a multi-queue or a single queue player is because I know Red's been playing for a long time, and he's been playing since the default has changed from single queue to multi-queue. Nowadays, it's multi-queue. What multi-queue is if you double-click a building and then queue up a unit, it spreads out the unit production from those buildings evenly. So let's say you have 3 stables, you queue up 6 knights, it goes 2 in each. That was not standard for a very long time. In fact, that was not standard more than it has been standard. There was actually a point where the community was like, no, don't do it. And then eventually the community shifted over to that because all other esports did that. So, you know, when I was just watching his play and watching his queue, he could have been doing the classic control group 3 is on archery ranges, select all TCs, select all this, select all that. He could have been doing that, but there was just a feel and a vibe I got as someone who was pretty good in the single queue era. I felt like that he's just like, I can't do it when I'm not in the game. Hold on. Like, I think this, if you were to watch his screen, and I know the colors are weird now, sorry. This is what you see. Like, I believe so, based on how he's playing. Now, that's unimportant to you guys. You guys are probably like, I really don't care. But for me, that just looked like classic Huns single queue spam production craziness, and I loved it. So, it's been a back and forth series. It's been an awesome series. We've got Uzzi with the #1 civilization on this map, you could say. There's many civilizations that might fall in right behind. But for a map that has, double click, It's always around 100. 92 deer this time, rigged. And also the boars. And hunts 40% faster. You're always going to favor the Mongols on Jungle Swamp. Now, we did see Persians picked in the past. And it was by Mr. Yo. Might have been a few other players, but this obviously was Season 1, and we're talking the best players in the world. But, I Buy Power has gone with a very classic pick. A civilization that typically plays in the stable units, has good economy, but doesn't really have any crazy power spikes and doesn't jump out at you. Now, I'm trying to remember. So, okay, it was a win with Hindustanis, a win with Huns, and then now he's going for Persians. And then whereas for Uzzi, he won with Saracens, he won with... What did he win in Game 3? I forget already. Oh, Japanese. Okay, and now Mongols. So we've actually had a lot of classic civilizations, a lot of civs that have been around a long time. But I'm wondering what the plan is here. He's sending villagers this way. It's almost like he's going to take some hunt here. Or even, is he going to, what? Is he laming? He's going out to find his opponent right now, guys. 3 villagers heading forward, so he maybe wants to stop the Mongols from getting the hunt. I hate this, though. I don't think this is a good idea. There's hunt everywhere. You're not going to deny the hunt for Mongols. I remember Yo docked the middle. There weren't many players that were docking the middle. If they did, it was with Persians or with Lithuanians. But yeah, I mean, okay, if you can get this boar, that could be pretty interesting. But he's going to walk forward with 3 villagers, and he's going to wall in the berries against the Mongols. Uzzi is very fortunate that his opponent didn't see this. But, he's got to bring in his boar and also save a villager on the wood line at the same time. Villager's going to die! Doink! Scout goes down as well. And now Uzzi, just don't lose this fill! Okay, Uzzi, I think we'll be kind of okay with that. Loses the villager, trades it for a scout. And Red didn't even commit to walling this in. So Red's just trying to make Dark Age more awkward for the Mongols, which is a positive in and of itself. Is it going to be worth it, though? Yeah, his name is I Buy Power. He's been known as I Buy Power for a long time. I've never known him as anything else. That's literally only been his name. And we are aware that it's a PC company. So it's not like, to my knowledge, it's never been a known player that like has a Smurf account. It's like, hey, this is my sponsor. It's just like, it's just always been what I've known him as. So I don't know what the situation is there, but if he continues to improve and he's someone we see a lot more of, because I quite frankly, like, even if he wins this series, he's still probably not a favorite against his next opponent. Then I'll probably ask Yo and be like, hey, Yo, like, give me some details. Is this guy known as something else? Why doesn't he play as that name? Because it's weird. But again, that's a fun thing to talk about here. Like, this guy did not come into this as a favorite. I think, based on Elo, he might have even been someone who wasn't favored in the previous series in that best of 3 versus Shulk. But this build, this strategy, I'm really not thinking this is going to work all that well. I mean, he's lost more villagers than he's killed. And now there could be another villager he loses here. So, I mean, he still hasn't clicked up to the next age. I guess the positive here is that Uzzi is not going to have a fast scout timing because Uzzi hasn't really had use of that lumber camp. And also, the starting scout is very weak. So, the starting scout isn't going to be a scout that actually like does damage to anything. Villagers here. Oh, he's going to dock now. This is different. I'll give him that. Also, Uzzi has no clue where he is. Hits feudal age fast. And here he comes with his scout. Now, are these villagers going to take fish? Or are these villagers going to continue the lameness? They're going to continue the lameness. No, they're going to stay on fish. Something Uzzi now sees. And there's no way, guys, that Uzzi expected this. So I'm sure he's confused at the moment. And he's obviously going to be making some scouts. And red didn't even make a fishing ship, but this is food for him because the villagers can drop it off at the dock. Sending multiple villagers, though, was very smart. Because I think if you send one, it easily dies to one scout. If you've got 3, he probably needs to have 3 scouts. All right. Lots of different talking points. Different things to scout. Different things to see. For Uzzi, he doesn't know where his opponent is yet, but he probably already has a target in his mind. This is what I need to focus on. You can't attack with melee units in the middle, but you could do it when it comes back to drop off the food. If red would have spearmen here, it'd be fine, but red, you're really flirting with danger here, my friend. Guy's gonna have food, by the way, and I assume go for his own scouts behind this. And Uzzi's doing the right thing and still shifting around to take more food. This is just palisade walls, by the way, as is this, so don't be too distracted by that. And, wow, red kills the weak scout instantly. A good micro from Uzzi here, and Uzzi's going to kill that, though. And Uzzi could kill more as well. Like, this is so risky to be out here at this stage. Never brought the villagers back home. Is making a demo. Okay. This gets really interesting here. This could be a moment and a half. Okay, red wants to save the vills. Demo's on the way. Villager goes down, but it's worth it now. Boom, let's go. And she somehow doesn't die to the flames and the smoke and the explosion. Because Age of Empires 2 is not very realistic, but we like it. Not bad, right? Like, blue went for a scout rush. Did kill some stuff. Kind of lost his scouts, right? So, a nice little moment there. Obviously, one fishing ship still fishing, and then you've got another one on the way. And then we have red now making spearmen, and then also making scouts behind this. And now the Persians, their TC does work, I think, 5% faster. And Uzzi also still doesn't know where this guy's base is, guys. What a great strategy. I mean, I'm hesitant to say great, but I don't think you can say this is a bad strategy, which is what I was initially thinking when I had seen red strat at the start. Because it has slowed down the Mongols on a map where normally they're the fastest. And it has turned it into a game that the Mongols normally don't, face up against. Like the fishing aspect. The Persian economy isn't bad. But right now, neither player has eco upgrades. Red really likes to hide the stables behind his TCs as well. So Uzzi looking for damage. He will see the scouts moving out from his enemy. Red unable to hide that any longer. We're seeing more fishing ships from red. Blue scouts are waiting for it. And here we've got a fight, and great work from Uzzi here. 5-5 KD, 4-1 eco KD for Uzzi, but he also doesn't have 3 fishing ships, so it evens out there. And we have a range now for Uzzi, which I think is a lovely move if he can have it timed with a spearman or 2 in most cases, because 1 or 2 archers won't be too successful against the scouts on their own. So we have spearman defense, which is why Uzzi's making the ranges. You understand that fact, right? But is he accounting for the scouts? And is red going to find these exposed villagers on the sides? There's plenty of them out there. Okay, archers are going to be on the way for Uzzi. And here goes red. So as far as red's concerned, blue's going to be here because he didn't get to scout this either, right? But he's not expecting the Mongol hunter to be over on the left side, and that could be a game changer. Red kind of struggling to get the food for scouts at the moment, it seems like. He doesn't have that many more in queue. Never mind. Changed my mind. Oh, and if he saw this mill, he would get the idea, wouldn't he? He also completely missed this archery range, so he didn't know about that, or doesn't know about that. As he comes over to gold, and he continues to add spearmen here. He's got so many. He's going to have 7 spearmen in a second. Scouts still haven't seen the range. Crazy stuff, right? Also, red will know there's spearmen there on the house, so he might not want to go that way if he's thinking about it. Uzzi has all the initiative. He's been the heavy favorite in the series. He's been really tested. Red walls in the villagers from the scouts. And Uzzi does the right thing. He gets to the other side, but the spearmen are there, and Red now leaves. And here's where these scouts are for Red. I guess he didn't notice the spearmen. Now he's panicking. He tries to drop a tower. And Uzzi patiently focuses down the spears. That tower's not going to go up. This is a great fight from Uzzi. So well played from him right now. The villager, hello? What? I don't know how she didn't die. Red scouts are looping home. He's got 7, which is about the same amount as Uzzi. Neither player having upgrades on their scouts, though. The tower will actually be completed here for Red. And he's got the defender's advantage with the scout production, too. Uzzi has farms. Can't wait for Red to lose that house because it's really bothering me. And we have a fight. This is before Uzzi gets armor. If he would have had armor, it would have been a little more effective. But, you know, there's just so many spearmen. Like, yeah, archers counter spearmen, but not in these numbers. And Uzzi completes armor and has 0 scouts. What in the world are we witnessing here? Second scout now for iBuyPower as well. Keep in mind, if he just goes one little run around to the left or the right, he's going to find Vils in most cases. But a lot of players don't take those risks, so he might not know to look there. You have to have earned yourself an advantage to be able to look for those Vils. So it's not as easy as just saying, yeah, you've got to look for it. You've got to know. It's Mongols, bro. Very weird production in the middle here from Uzzi. And did he not know that was open? I don't think he knew that was open there. Oh my god, he's going to lose his Vils. His archery range gets denied. He's going to lose his archers. He's losing everything. And iBuyPower, just like in the previous game, has lesser TC idle time. He's got better production. And he still has fishing ships. And he's working off Persian eco, right? So faster working town center right now as well. I do not know what Uzzi was thinking with the other stable, but clearly it's like a panic move, right? Lose your army, just add as many buildings as you can. That's probably where his brain was going. We've got 15 farmers versus 10, but then you've got the Mongol hunters still getting dangerously close to the enemy. Dude, I'll message Yo and tell him to change his name to iBuyTower. He did buy a lot of towers in this series. He does have armor now, which makes the fights a little bit easier against these units. Oh, not again. Not again. You know exactly what he's doing. He's going to try and bait these things to be closer. Maybe he's going to save the demo there for later. Here he sees the villagers making a dock from blue. He goes in for the kill, and Uzzi delays it. Or delays the inevitable death for this villager, many might think, by getting the walls up and now adding the dock. So that's good. I'm wondering where you're going to get damage in, though, if you're Uzzi with this army. It's got to be the back eco, right? That certainly doesn't feel like that's where you want to hit. You'd probably want to hit here, but he doesn't know. The red scouts are coming home. There's 4 spearmen in here. It's an army that you can fight. Like, if it was 3 spearmen, as silly as that sounds, I think you immediately jump on it. But with it being 4 spearmen, nah, he's got the scouts now. He's got the scouts. He could be okay. And Uzzi has rebounded, guys. Uzzi has rebounded really nicely. He is going to click up to the next stage. It's going to be full feudal here from an unknown player from China, at least for many of you out there. Again, he has been known. He has been around the community for a long time. I've only known him as iBuyPower, and he's not fighting with his entire army. They must have had a little bit of a spat, a little bit of an argument, but they get it done at the end of the day, and they all work together. More scouts on the way for Red. He's not finished yet. Also has a demo waiting in here as he competes for water just to protect his fish. But can Uzzi defend himself? He's got big groups of spearmen around his base. Also, this has been so valuable for him. I wish I had stats on how much food that has brought in. Okay. Scouts are going to move in. I'm wondering if, like, maybe, like, Step Lancer is what Uzzi's thinking in the next stage? I mean, Knights would be really good, too. Red has full scout upgrades. Oh, he's trying to bait this army into the middle. Uzzi should never do this after what happened before. Oh my god. Red, come back. Come back. Oh my god. No way. No way. Oh, Uzzi noticed it. He got so scared. He noticed it. Did you see him freak out? But guys, the scouts are in over at his base. He's 45 seconds away from Castle Age, but the scouts are doing damage. Heart attack in the middle, but even bigger heart attack for him at home. And this is some valuable damage here for Red, because he will be much later to Castle, and he still has a big army to deal with. And can you deal with this right now, barring just bringing back all your scouts? But do you want to bring back your scouts? Because you should feel the need to continue to kill. It's so complicated. What I do really like, though, as these villagers are all trapped in the corner, holy. Oh, no! They're through! He made it through! That's 8 villagers that could die! I was just going to say, I like how many food villagers or food eco Red has. But now it's just going to be eco in general. Dang. Oh, great find there. As he continues to hunt down the rest of them. And he'll even take out... he might not take out the spearman, but he does end up killing all those vills. Now, meanwhile, he's been on stone, so he could drop another tower. He really likes his tower defense. He is currently losing on water. It was very hard for me to tell what was happening there. And we're going to have knights and a lot of knights from Uzzi. And this is his window to bring this game back. The towers aren't going to be too bothersome for the knights, but I think the concern is how many knights have you had to send home because of the additional scouts, and how many villagers can hop in and out of the tower. The tower itself is not going to kill the knights, but it is protection, which is valuable here. Very similar to the previous game, right? Like tower defense from Red. He now sees the knights and gets to wall up. On water, looks like Uzzi's won, air quotes. I don't know if that's a win or not necessarily, but he's trying his best to kill villagers, and he's not quite finding those kills. That should be a villager kill right there. Finds it. Food eco isn't as good for either player right now, but for Red, you've got camels coming out too. Something both civs can do, but monastery as well from Red. So, you know, Red not really worrying about this. Also, I love how there's some turkeys in there. That's always fun. Red even looping back in with scouts here, and Uzzi has to defend from that now. Uzzi's got a lot of stone, which is deadly to the Persians. Like, Persians don't have that much of an answer to Mangadai. Of course, if it goes late, the economies are even, blah, 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 which normally isn't the case, but Mangadai are super hard to stop for any civilization that doesn't have good skirmishers. The monastery's still not completed yet for Red. Loses his scouts here. We see a second town center for Uzzi on some wood, which he definitely needed. What the crap is this? He's like, oh, these villagers have done so much for me, they deserve their own village. I'm not sure I like that. I feel like if your opponent finds that, it's an easy clear up. But I don't know, maybe it's the best for the rest of your economy. It's definitely not as questionable as this, whatever's happening here. She's going to end up dying. Messy games, as I showed you that. Another villager or two died over on this side. So, woo, what a game. What a series. This is sick, man. Guys, this is a lot of Age of Empires. Best of 5s are no joke. Especially for Silver League players who aren't playing tourney sets all the time. These guys aren't full-time, right? But they see the potential. I assume these things, of course. They hopefully like the system and like the opportunity it gives them to say, hey, like, boom, qualifier opportunity. Prove I'm worthy. Get into the next edition of Gold in 2 weeks, which is when that's going to be starting, by the way. So now we know, because I won't be casting it, but we know that Lix is the one who waits for the winner, and Lix is going to be the favorite, I think, against either player. But I mean, both of these guys are playing really good. I didn't get to see Lix play. 51 eco versus 49. There's just been consistency from both of them. Like, sometimes you'll see players drop off from game to game, but that really has not happened here. Monk's at home now for Red, aiming for a conversion. I don't see him. I see... Oh, there he is. That should be enough to keep the units away there, as we have a knight and we have a camel counterattack. And then, ooh, knight's picking off... Ooh, 2 villagers on this side. Uzzi's going to take the villager lead. Always a little questionable against Persians, whether or not that's going to stay the case. Always a little questionable, too, when you've got these many villagers in the back of your base. That also rhymed, which I definitely didn't try. But spitting bars over here, as we see the third town center now for Uzzi. No horse collar for him, no wheelbarrow. Those are big upgrades that you normally want at this stage, but you can live without them for the time being if you're still making lots of manga dye. It does feel like with the amount of monks that Red has at home, that Red should be able to thwart any attack of knights. But Uzzi's probably going to go to the one area that Red's not. Nope, 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 nope. Red expected it. Red's looking. Red knows his vulnerabilities. And wow, that's some sick game sense there. Seems knew exactly where the things were going there, and he's going to get the kills for it, too. Very well played. All right, we've got monks going for conversions there on that knight. Oh, it is 4 TC for blue. This doesn't even count. This doesn't even count. I mean, it does count, obviously. He's got a lot. He also has a lot of vision in the middle with these buildings now, which I think is underrated. 60 vills for both, though. Persian economy is pretty rough. Monk will go for a conversion. A lot of people run back there. I kind of like the fact he didn't, though. There's a weak knight in there, and look at that. He gets rewarded with that kill and another kill. Man, like, to judge that in the moment, I mean, maybe he didn't. Impressive stuff. Also, more knights and camels in the back now. Did Rubenstock participate in the qualifiers? No, he did not. He did not sign up. Obviously, would have been included had he signed up. You also had a player in, like, the Max who didn't sign up in Season 1 or Season 2. There's a couple exclusions of players who you'd like to see, but for one reason or another, they never try and participate. Uzzi has a relic, which is nice, and might be able to get more. I'm sure he has a lot of vision around the map. He's got a ton of vision around the map, though. I'm not seeing any relics on it. And this game could really not be closer. Like, the Mongol economy is worse right now, but Uzzi's catching up in that regard, and he's got lots of manga dye, which is just a killer unit. Look at this. Like, that's going to be 3 dead villagers just like that. And you don't exactly want to pull over monks that don't get sanctity to deal with this either. Oh, God. But underneath the castle over here is some problems. Okay. Oh, God. There were also villagers dying here and villagers dying here. And yet the eco count stays even because both players have done similar amounts of damage. Impressive. Intense. T90's Titans League. Yeah, that was my nice little promo. I'll stop now. Did Ganji sign up? No, Ganji played... Ganji not only signed up, but he played in gold, and he got promoted out of gold into... he won his group in gold. He's going to be in platinum with the top 24 players this season. This is becoming a real problem. There's so many different groups from Red, and Uzzi just can't quite keep up with his manga dye micro, and then also his own economy. And that hurt really badly. Like, he's now down to 58 villagers, and Red's still up at 75. Oh, no way. I don't think this can be denied. Oh, wait, he's going to do the monk trick. He needs knights, too, though. So, for some reason, guys, you can use monks. You can, like, alternate what you're converting, and it'll do this. It'll stop them from building. The problem is, I don't think it's enough. There's too many villagers. That castle is going to go up, and that castle is going to be a nightmare scenario for Red. That's the last thing he wants to deal with. I think Uzzi really needed that, right? He just lost a lot of villagers. Now he's got a castle next to 2 town centers from Red. Red's still trying to be annoying over here, but you've got to think the manga dye could pick that off now. Look at Red even stealing this. And man, what do you do? Ram this down? I think you have to ram... I think you have to try and ram that down. Red even trying for more raids underneath castles. Looking around for more hunters. So many different groups of armies right now. I think you go Knight Ram. Manga dye do have a bonus against Siege, but Castle Age Manga dye is not that insane. And also, blue doesn't have that much army. Blue, you might want to stay in this castle here, my friend. Why is the castle not firing? Oh, okay. I feel like it didn't fire at all. And he wasn't expecting this, guys. No! That was the worst scenario for those vills. Oh, my God. Had he stayed, he would have been fine. Had he left earlier, he would have been fine. Man, Red just waits. It's like he really understands exactly what his opponent's going to do next and exactly how difficult it's going to be for his opponent to react to it. The Rams are being massed here. He's got this group now waiting. This group goes in, and then he's going to run away, and he's going to just try and time it. Oh, my God. Dude, I'd be so annoyed if I was Uzzi right now. Because, like, it's at a point where Red's being pretty risky with some of this army. Like, a lot of this stuff could be considered highly questionable. But he just continues to make his opponent work. That was amazing. And now here he comes with the Rams. Some players will even bring, like, Vills to repair this. You see Huang do that a lot. But Blue needs to bring his whole mass of Mangadai in to deal with that. Dang, he's got amazing military control. But yeah, one Ram won't cut it. That's the problem. You'd need, like, normally when you show this, you normally want to have 4 or 5. And now your opponent knows, so he's always gonna have his Mangadai here. Now, that means he can't have his Mangadai here. But look how weak this army is at this point. We've got 2 castles to produce Mangadai out of if you're blue. Your eco is disastrous. It must be so painful. Compared to Red's farming eco, I mean, it's not even close. All right, so I think we're going to see a little bit of like a plan B here from Red. And I think Red is going to, since he has all this control, and he's going to distract blue, I think he's going to try and drop a castle here. Or he could stabilize and drop a castle at home, but Mangadai. Man, would ballistics be so helpful right now for Uzzi, though, right? With 2 castles, the TC fire, the Mangadai. Get a university up pronto, man. Where is Red going to make that castle? How much extra gold does he see? Does he see this? He does see that. He's bought stone now. And yeah, I think maybe it's going to be more of a defensive castle because he's worried about this getting out of hand. Another little raid over here, but Uzzi does react. This TC's killed 8 units now, and it's weakened so many others. Okay, so this is actually not a bad decision here from Red. It's much safer, which is how he's tend to play. And he's trying to trap these bad boys. They have no bloodlines. No bloodlines on the Mangadai is a surprise for me. Bloodlines I thought was in a long time ago. So they have a lot less HP, but they are still Mangadai, they are still speedy, and they will still run away. Red's castle, though, will make it more awkward for blue to run in this direction. Speaking of upgrades, I'd like to see fletching come in from Red, just to help with the TC fire and everything. Red still has so much army around here, man. Oh my goodness. Like, I cannot blame Uzzi at all for how distracted he is with this, because he's doing so much damage over here. So he'll look at this and think I'm destroying him, and then he's going to look back and realize, oh man, I've lost more villagers. What a game, guys. This is the best game in the whole series. Honestly, this game's disgusting. The fact that their level has risen tells me they can beat Lix. Whoever wins this has the skill to beat Lix. Now, Lix is a different animal. He was like a clear favorite for me to go through the gold. He's been one of the best players for a long time, has a lot of experience, but dang. You know, it's still that food eco that I keep thinking about. And it's the food eco that will now take Red to the Imperial Age. 102 eco. He just needs to hold this off as Bloodlines now comes in from Uzzi. Obviously, what Red's plan is, and I wouldn't mind to see him making a Scorpion or 2. His plan is to trap this down, obviously, right? What TC is he going imp in? Okay, at least it wasn't that one. Uzzi moving over to the right-hand side now, finding more villager kills. Still would really like to see ballistics from him. I think it's an upgrade that would help him so much more than he realizes here. But he's trying to fix his economy, get more farming eco, and he's finally over 30. So that's actually on par with what Red has at the moment. And, you know, you've got all these different groups of Mangadai that you've got to deal with now. They finally have bloodlines. It just can't be easy if you're Red. Look at Uzzi. He's like, it's my turn to be annoying. He's hoping as the more knights get kills in this TC. I mean, that area is an awful spot to be a villager. But he's hoping that he can run in here because of this army. But actually, Red's holding. Red's going to hold against that, and Red's going to push this back. And Red also killed... I don't know how many more villagers there in total, but he's going to kill about 8 more now. Ow, man. Trebs will also be on the way from Red. Uzzi hasn't clicked up yet. Cavalier and, plate barding armor, all those things will be tricky. But Red's got 30 knights. Versus 21 Mangadai? If you're an imp, I think you're in a good spot. All right, imp is in. So there's the Treb. Uzzi's now like, ba-bum, ba-bum, ba-bum. Am I going to lose to this guy? Sorry, who's like 300 elo lower than me. Maybe 200 elo, depending on the week. Oh my god. Red's going to go YOLO and drop a castle over here. It's actually so smart if he can get it up. It's so risky too, but like, in his mind, he needs his Trebs to be underneath. He's back again. He's back again. The man's insane. He's a man on the mission. Just don't take that gold ever. Oh my god. This guy's insane. I'm losing my mind. Anyways, he knows his Trebs need to be protected by castles because Mangadai have a bonus against siege. They can't be out in the open field. So that's why he's doing this. Now, he needs to get the rest of his knights here, but he will complete that castle. And the rest of his units are running here. And he will Treb this down as well. So Red may very well be on his way to victory. Blue has no gold income. He's no gold income whatsoever, and his opponent's an imp with the ability to make Trebs and take everything out. Insane player. This guy has impressed me and then some. Just unbelievable. Again, and Uzzi was my favorite. Uzzi's clearly panicked. He has imp queued behind a couple villagers, which is not going to help matters. And I mean, again, imp armor. Cavalier hasn't even been clicked yet. That probably will come in soon. And this might be the end. There's a 40 eco difference now. Red's raids have just been insane. And remember how he started it. The standard Age of Empires start. He knew how Mongols would perform. He strategized. He made it messy. He mixed in the dock. Turned it into a standard feudal game. But Uzzi, he taps out. He says, GG, well played. That was the best game of the whole series for me. That was one of the best games that we've seen in Titans League. And obviously round 3. So Red, who all the English speakers know as I Buy Power. I wonder, wait, here's a thought. Is it possible his first name doesn't mean I Buy Power, but I just can't read it because I can only speak English and a couple other languages? I wonder if he is known as something else or if that says I Buy Power in his language. I'm not too sure. But anyways, I've known him as I Buy Power for years and he is going to move on. He knocks out Uzzi, which is one of the bigger upsets so far of TTL Silver. I did have Uzzi going on to that final round. So it will be 2 Chinese players facing off next week. It'll be like after Christmas, guys. So actually, I'll be casting them in 10 days. All the games will be played private. So we're not going to do what we've done with the early rounds where players are able to... play their games publicly. Other people can cast them, blah, blah, blah. The final rounds are going to be structured a bit more so everyone can see them. But yeah, I mean, I didn't see Lix play, so I can't truly give an opinion based on Lix's level right now. But, sorry, I'm lowering my desk. But honestly, I think he could beat Lix. His strategy was really good. His strategy was really, really good from game to game. I think the only one that was questionable was probably Cross. And, that's something he's going to have to improve on. But he beat Mongols on this map with pretty crazy strategy. It feels like, you know what it is with him? Even if his strategy initially isn't really that great, it feels like when it gets to Castle Age, he's just better, right? From his TC production, his army control, like, his idle TC time in the Atacama game was wild. And he also has moments of brilliance, too, with the traps and whatnot, so. Make a screenshot of his name and ask Yo if that's the case. Yeah, I'm going to ask Yo. Yo's probably getting tired of me asking him about random Chinese players, but he always answers and is always really nice. I remember I asked Yo about Dewitty and Wandering Warriors Cup. I said, hey, who's Dewitty? Is Dewitty known as someone else? He goes, Dewitty is him. Or no, he's like, Dewitty is Dewitty. He likes to play Nomad. And he just left it at that. He said, like, solid Nomad player. Google Translate says Brave Bear. Oh, I know Brave Bear. But he never has his name as Brave Bear, I think. Okay. So he must be sponsored by iBuyPower. Well, listen, iBuyPower, if you happen to know that I said that however many times in this cast, feel free to send me a check, all right? I probably should have done a little bit more research on that, but in my defense, the brackets would have shown the result of this. So I didn't want to know the result of this cast, of this series before I casted it for obvious reasons. So Brave Bear. Interesting.